lọ tún ra wú ẹ má jọ gbàgbọ́ ní gbogbo fún yín mo wí tèmi àṣepítà kò sí o àṣepamọ́ ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni rárá èmi yẹ ti kú mo sì lè ṣiṣẹ́ mo sì lè fọwọ́ ọwọ́ mo sì lè tún lẹ́nu ṣe yìí. ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ máa sùn lẹ̀ ṣe bá sọ pé ò mọ kankan.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, the good people of Ifako Ijaye local government. This is Ifako Radio, live from Ifako. And I am your host today, Olanireti Olusegun, the mayor of Lagos City. And we have people and politics. That is the title of the program. And we have a guest in the studio. And somebody that we know as a public analyst, a social commentator, and a media group, so to say. We have the pleasure to welcome you, sir, Dr. Jide Johnson, popularly known as JJ.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Shegun, and your beautiful wife behind the screen, directing and producing this particular program. What a wonderful place you guys have put here. Let me first start on that note to commend the great work you are doing, most especially for we, the people of Ifako Ijaye, and importantly, the great people of Lagos State. So I say good morning from Ifako Ijaye, from the people of Ifako Ijaye, to the entire nation of Nigeria and to every other person in the world. Thank you for having me, Sheikh. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, I think the pleasure is ours because during the unveiling on May 1st, we so crave to have you as part of those that we unveiled that day. But unfortunately, when we put the call across, though it came late, but you said you were outside Lagos.
Yeah.
So your absence was conspicuously felt, sir.
Well, I hope today's program will fill the void.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a good thing to support whatever your younger ones are doing, particularly something that is about bringing about development in the community, in the society, and Nigeria at large. You can imagine the sacrifices, this investment, to put this investment in place and to ensure that the good people of Ifako are well represented. Voices are given to their needs and to their aspirations with respect to how they are represented and how government are able to meet their individual and collective needs. So it's a good one, and hopefully we'll promise to be part and parcel of this program in contributing to the development of our dear local government. It's a charity because I know.
Yes.
And this is home for us. And I hope this platform will provide platform for people of Ifako Ijaye, as well as our elected representative, to connect with our great people of Ifako and people of Ifako Ijaye.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. May I also note that, as a matter of fact, you are the first guest we will be featuring on any program immediately after the unveiling.
Thank you for giving me that singular honor. I see that way. You know, Shegun, my elder brother's name is Shegun.
Wow.
And so I'll be looking at it from the perspective of my elder brother. I'll be looking at you from the perspective of my elder brother. Thank you, brother Shegun, for giving me the opportunity of being the first guest on. You know, it was Shegun that gave Jide the opportunity to come after him. And Shegun has given me the opportunity to be the first guest on this program. Thank you for having me.
Once again, thank you so much. The good people of Ifako, we have here live Dr. Jide Johnson. And you can call in on the program to contribute, and the number to dial is 091 222 7344. I'll take that again. 091 222 7344. 091 222 7344. If you want to make your contribution. Just like I stated earlier, the program is people and politics. And what we do here, we believe anything that has to do with people, definitely there will be some level of politicking in it. So they are interlocked, and we can come from any angle. But Doctor, this morning I want you to critically assess the state of the nation politically. What is your position?
Well, first and foremost, you ask every you ask every human being in the society, an average human being, I don't like politics. People don't forget that when you talk about politics, you are talking about public policy.
Definitely.
And it is public policy that shapes your life. Said, I'm not interested in politics. However, those that are elected through politics are the ones that take decisions that affect every aspect of our lives. So the first impression I try to correct is, you must be interested in politics, because it is politics that determine who gets what, when, where, and how. Sure. That's how David Easton defined politics. So anything that has to do with taking decision that affects your social life, that affects your economic life, that affects your environmental life, that affects your business life, your economic life, that's politics. And so you should be interested in politics, because it has to do with how decisions that shape your life are taken, and that is one. Now, talking about the state of politics, politics in the nation. Well, what you look at is, for us in Nigeria, public governance is more or less about winning election and controlling the levers of government, and not about public policy and delivering for the deliverables of democracy. Why did I say so? Our democracy is still characterized by some impediments. One, the outcome of the elections are usually determined by the courts and not by the ballot boxes, not by the electorates, not by the ballots, and which has made some people to say that what we have is judiciocracy and not democracy, that the actual outcome of the election is determined by the judiciary and not by the people. As a result of that, which tends to affect the entire confidence of the electorates, of the citizenry, in terms of supporting the government, which brings about polarization, because when we go to court, there's a particular saying in my local dialect, Akinti court the cador, we don't go to court and come back and become friends. And as a result of the fact that most outcome of elections are determined by litigation, so there's a lot of bitterness that characterizes. And
that's a serious minus factor.
That characterizes the politics. Now, let me break it down. The person that wins the election will use his first year to go to court to secure his mandate. The person that loses the election will be open, and by the second year, the court will rule over that particular matter. And a lot of attention is paid to litigation in the first year. In the second year, there's a judgment. The second year, where the government is trying to settle down to give the people deliverables of democracy. By the time the second year is coming to an end, which you want to kickstart the third year, they start talking about the election. Now we are in 2025.
And they want to get back to office.
Exactly. We are in 2025. We have already started talking about 2027.
Sure.
Even the one we have elected in 2022, we have not spoken, we have not talked about
even their stewardship account
of what you are going to do, what you are still going to do. The entire focus is on re-election, and that is the vicious cycle we have found ourselves since 1999. So the entire state of nation of the politics about election, re-election, and the rest of it. And that's why you have seen that cross-carpeting, people decamping from one party to the other has been the talk of the day, and not about what government is doing to put food on my table, to put food on your table, to reduce the double-digit inflation that we have, to improve the standard of living and to reduce the cost of living. So those are the challenges that we have. So when you look at the entire state of politics in the nation, you still see that we still have a carryover of the 2023 elections, the bigotry of 2023 elections, because the focus of majority of the people that are involved in politics is 2027 and not what they will do between now and 2027.
All right, sir. Before this administration came in place, Nigerians had high expectation, believing that the elected presidents will change the face of economy of the nation. But if you go on the street of Lagos, Nigeria, even in Ifako here, the story seems not to be too palatable. How do you react to that, sir?
First, I think that for me, the people driving the economy, I've said it over time in many forums. The cycle of the people that the president used to drive this economy, for me, is too narrow. And why did I say so? You can't run the economy of Nigeria with the idea and intelligence you used to run the economy of Lagos between 1999 and 2007.
Okay.
I'll say this for a fact. Now, if you check the people that are driving the economy, they are the people that work with the president when he was governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007.
So, sorry, if you look at it, the presidency will claim that the present administration run a system of inclusiveness. We have people from other political parties.
I'm talking about the core economy.
Okay.
Now, the Minister of Finance and the coordinating minister for the economy was the Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. Prior to him emerging as the minister, being appointed as the Minister of Finance and coordinating minister of the economy, what did he do from 2007 to 2023? Now, so if you check the core of that cabinet, the core of what they call the kitchen cabinet, they are majority of them are from Lagos. So, and then a majority of them are banking tradition. You can't run the economy using banking principles. You need pure economists to run the economy. The economy is based on revenue generation. You can't grow the economy using taxation. You grow the economy by providing economic incentives that allow the manufacturing sector to thrive, that allow the citizenry to have a lot of disposable income. That means that you reduce taxes, and as a result of that, people can save, and there can be money, credit in banks whereby people can borrow, and then you grow the economy through small, medium, and scale enterprise. But what we have is a tax regime. Every aspect of our life has been taxed, and you have not matched that up with a corresponding investment in the manufacturing sector. So the economy is based on revenue generation drive and not building the entire economy. And that's why you see a lot of people are complaining, a lot of people are groaning on the street based on the economic policies that we have in place.
So, talking about the state of the nation, what do you think, or what will you suggest to the presidency as a way out of the present situation? Yes, you've spoken about enlargement and also looking outside his primary cabinet from the outset while he was the governor of Lagos State. But what we have now, they are there already. And some people even opine that when it is the mid of his administration, there will be change of most of the ministers. But I don't see us getting that in earnest. What do you think would be a way out?
Well, May 29 is just some days away from now, which will mark the second anniversary of the president in power, which will mark half of his first term. And as such, we should be able to evaluate what the government has done, what the government needs to do. For me, what I think the government needs to do is the government to look at ways in which we can make this economy business friendly. What do I mean by that? Business friendly in the sense that we need to look at the area of power generation. It is power that powers your economy. Now, what investment have we made in power? I'm sure you know that we are using alternative power supply for this particular program.
Yeah.
If you add that to the cost of running this program, it's incomparable to when we power it with power that comes from the national grid. Now, if you don't solve the power problem, there's no way this economy can work. Two is the issue of government removing different forms of tariff. We remove electricity tariff, we remove educational tariff, we remove petroleum subsidy. And so what subsidy have we provided for agriculture? So government needs to invest in agriculture, because the large amount of money we make in Nigeria we spend on feeding ourselves. An average, a 1,000 unit of our currency, 1,000 unit of our currency cannot feed a 5-year-old boy.
Sure.
For 1 meal.
I agree with you.
Now you translate that to America. Can the three of us in the studio, can we spend 1,000 units of American currency to feed? It's not possible. So these are the basis which we look at. The inflation is so high. What are the things that we can do to reduce the inflation? One, we have to reduce our dependency on foreign goods. And how do you reduce the dependency on foreign goods? By encouraging local investors. You know, last week they said that they will be sending ministers will be going to London to go and talk about the achievement of this. It's going to cause us foreign exchange. What stops the minister from coming to Ifako radio and project to the whole world that
you can tell them that maybe we want you to say that again.
So what stops them from coming to Ifako radio and project it to the world in this age and time of technology?
And sincerely, we are going to appreciate
in this age and technology, what stops our elected representative and appointed representative from coming and this is what government has done? Beyond the revenue going to the local government, the revenue going to the state government has increased over the last 2 years. What is it that people can show for it? If we don't reform the power sector, if we don't invest in agriculture, and if we don't invest in small and medium scale enterprise, I can assure you this economy will not grow. This economy will grow on paper, but we will not see it in the lives of the people.
All right, sir. Talking about elected representatives, how do you think as politicians they can better engage with their electorates, the people that have put them in office, and further get trust?
One of the things I've seen in a part of the world is elected representative not willing to talk to their people using the various multimedia platforms that we have. They are so shy. They are so shy in talking. They are so shy in talking to the people that it is only when they run into crisis that make use of the platform that are available for them to talk to the people at all times. Now, if you break the word representative, if you break it, that is what represent. Because all of us cannot go to State House of Assembly. All of us cannot go to the National Assembly. So we elect people to represent us. They are there to represent us at that house, to present our view.
Take our case to that
level. That's what it's called, representation. Represent the view of your people at the parliament, because all people can be there. And what a better way for you to do that than to come back and tell people, this is the way I have represented you. This is the way I have represented you at the parliament. These are the things that I've spoken about with respect to what we are doing.
Earlier you said something about the president giving his stewardship account during the mid of his first term. When you said first term, I noted that. Does that mean there's an assurance that you'll be getting a second term ticket?
Well, technically, which president have you seen that has not gotten a second term in Nigeria?
Maybe good luck, Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan won a second term.
He
was on a ticket. Okay. Technically, that's why I used the word technically. Okay. He was on a ticket. They won the first time. They won the second time. It was the third time they lost. Jonathan was part of Yar'Adua's administration.
Sure.
So he sought re-election as a president. He didn't win. He won.
Yeah,
So
right.
he won. He won the election as a president. Because he was a sitting president when he won in 2011.
Yes, sure.
He was a sitting president. So that's re-election. So it was in 2015 that he lost. So technically, I've seen a president that has not won re-election in Nigeria. And then if you look at the permutation of Nigerian politics from 2000, from 1999 to date, anytime you have a Southern president, the Southern opposition party will support him for the election.
That has been the start.
The Southern party will support him for the election. Anytime you have a Northern president, the Northern opposition party will support him for the election. It happened with Obasanjo when the AD governor supported him in 2003. It happened for second term. It happened with Yar'Adua's administration when all the ENPP governor, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Bauchi left ENPP to go to PDP. They decamped to PDP. You know, his daughters got married to all of these governors that I made mention of. And then we said politics by marriage then. So then it happened to Jonathan too when Ikedio Akin and Theodore Orji left the platform which they were elected. They were not elected on PDP platform. They decamped to PDP to support Jonathan in 2011. So it happened to Buhari when the PDP governors left PDP to join APC, to form APC that brought Buhari to the election. So now it's nothing new now. You are seeing that it is the Southern governors that are decamping to join APC, Tinubu's administration for 2027 election.
And they are doing that so well.
They are doing that. And you can't rule that out. There are many of the Southern governors who do so. It has always been a divide between the North and the South.
So talking about the governors, some people opine that economically the presidency is doing what it ought to do, at least to rejuvenate the economic system of the nation. But let's also critically assess the governors. How will you rate them so far, generally?
See, for me, it's not even the governor. For me, it's about an holistic review of our entire structure. That's giving power back to the local government so that we can hold the local government accountable, and we can hold the state government accountable, and we can hold the presidency accountable. Now, when to a large extent you can blame the governor in terms of not doing well, there's no doubt most governors have not done. I recall last year I was invited to the state radio station to come and do a review of the governor their first year in office and to analyze them. And I said I couldn't find. I said let's do it geopolitical zone. And then I'll do three the best, the good, the bad. I said I'll use the good, the bad, and the ugly as my metrics for measuring. So the governor, no doubt, have not really done well because there's not too much spotlight on them. The spotlight is on the presidency, and we don't tend to give too much spotlight to what the governors are doing. And as a result of that, most of them have gone under the radar. But in the last 1 year or thereabout, I can tell you that there have been too much emphasis on what are the governors doing to complement what the federal government is doing. And there's no doubt as we move forward, there will be a lot of attention on what governors are doing moving forward. But we also need to reform the local government so that we give power back to the local government and the people can have access to the resources that actually belong to them.
Alright, the program remains People and Politics on Ifako Radio, and you can call in on 091-2222-7344 to 7433. Pardon me, I'll take that again. 091-2222-7433 to make your contribution. And we still have Dr. Jide Johnson, JJ, in the studio with us. You can as well drop your comments and contributions on Facebook. On Facebook, it is Ifako Radio. On YouTube, Ifako Radio. On WhatsApp, Ifako Radio. On TikTok, Ifako Radio. And on Instagram, Ifako_radio. On X, Ifako Radio. Doctor, talking about local government system. Recently, a particular political party conducted primaries in Lagos State. And as a matter of fact, election will be holding in a couple of weeks.
July 12th.
Yes. But what we have seen, talking about politics in Nigeria, we observe that what really happened within the political parties is either they are recycling the old hands or they are fielding their own children to represent the good people of whichever local government or what have you. A particular leader from a particular political party reacted recently that they need to do away with that. And I'm afraid I don't see that happening, because if we look at those people they will be feeding, even in the coming local government election in Lagos State, the situation may still remain the same. How do we get out of this corner or this cage?
Well, I don't see the end in sight. I don't see the end in sight, because for partisan democracy, you need a well-structured, properly run political party. And I can tell you for a fact, which of the political party is properly run. The national chairman of PDP was not elected by the National Convention. The national chairman of the APC was not elected by the National Convention. So, if the party, which is the basis for partisan democracy, because without the party system you can't have democracy, if they don't have respect for their own constitution, how would they have respect for the constitution of Nigeria? What we have is not a party system. What we have is an oligarchy, a system run by the few nebulous rich. I can say that beating my chest, and that's why you see that people are recycling themselves with their children, with their cousins, with their wards and the rest of it. And it is so blatant that they don't even have respect for. Tell me any party that has any semblance of democracy, internal democracy within a system. Now the one you spoke about, I was an active player, a major player in the primaries that was conducted recently to pick. A facade was put up to show that it was democratic. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, where votes were cast in secret, in absolute secrecy of coven. You know the way they elect Pope, that nobody had access to it. That's the way
they only pronounce the result.
That is,
and you don't have a choice. That will be binding.
So that was the way and manner the primaries to pick the chairmanship aspirant for the Progressive Congress was done in Lagos State. It was blatant disregard for what is the norm in democratic principle. It was just a semblance of democratic norms. The delegates actually voted, but they voted in secret. They actually voted at the same time. They actually voted. The agents and the candidate were not there when they voted. They actually voted. Where they voted, there were the local government electoral officer that were not declared to the agents and the candidates contesting the election were inside with them. And when I vote, we all voted on the same table. So there is voters intimidation, voters harassment, and there was no secrecy. The sanctity of democracy is the secrecy of my ballot. So it was there. On the face value, it looked democratic, but in reality, it was autocratic. It was autocratic. It was despotic, and it was oligarchic in nature. However, in that system, lucky for the winner. That is the system that was put in place. You can't challenge it. It's been done. It's democratic. The winner will say they've won, and the loser will bite the dust.
So whether we like it or not, somebody will occupy the seat at the local government.
Those of us that participated in the process, like I told those that were there that day, that we are exchanging ideas and the rest, I said politics is a game. It's like a game of football. You win, you lose. You beat us, we are okay. We beat you, we are okay. At the end of the day, we are members of the same party. So, but that we will not contest. Even in family, in chieftaincy title that is zoned to a family,
There's always a competition.
There's always a competition. It's not a do or die affair. People must have.
As a matter of fact, that is the beauty of democracy.
People must have aspirations. So there's no enmity in it. It's a game. We win, we lose. We win, we lose. If we have played the game and that system favors us, we'll be the ones celebrating today.
Sure.
Hopefully in 2027, we'll be able to favor us.
I say big amen to that. And now, how do you think electorates, most especially at the local government level, can hold their representatives accountable? Because whether we like it or not, somebody will go there, be it by magic, abracadabra, or due process. Somebody will go there to represent.
Whoever you elect can never be responsible to you. Because the access to political power in Nigeria does not come from the bottom, it comes from the top.
That's a very big one. So where do we go from?
It comes from the top. It comes from the top. They give instructions, they give directives. It's unlike in the past where power actually resides with the people. In sovereignty, you say power belongs to the people.
Sure.
But in the type of political system which we practice, power belongs to the select few. It belongs to the political role that you have in the communist party, in the old Soviet Union, whereby it is the political role that determines who becomes the what and who gets what and how. Is it the people that determine who becomes the councillor? Let's start from it, Shegun. Who determines who becomes the escrow at the ward level? They write names. Did they vote for them? They write names, and it is the list. Those are the top approved that becomes the list.
Are you now saying there is no hope for people at the grassroots level?
Shegun, and those that are listening, the best hope for you is to align with the person that will write the list. That's the reality. It's for you to align with the person that will write the list. Look, at a point in time, I give you an example because this last one, I actively participated to talk about it, to know the trappings. For many years, I was on the sideline. So if I'm talking about the political process, I'm talking from very point of view. Now I want to be an activist, so I participated actively. In the past, some people were in charge, and it was one. The APC family is divided into two groups: the Mandate Group and the Justice Forum. The beautiful bride in Lagos State today at the Justice Forum. At one point in time, it was Mandate. So that's why you see. So that's why you see in Ifako and Ojokoro, the chairman, are from here.
But if you ask me, I think they went for primaries and they were duly elected. As a matter of fact, there's a balancing because according to the guidelines, they said fair representation should be given to the women, and I think they've gotten that now in APC or Jokoro. Hopefully, maybe.
Why did they give that woman from Onibungo that worked tirelessly, that did extremely well? I'm not saying that chairperson from Onibungo, one of the most active, vibrant, the little, she succeeded at chairman, and then the little time she spent, she really worked tirelessly.
She did well.
Why was she not given on that? Look, when they came up with those ideas, they are deceiving, they are playing games. When politicians came, we are going to give 30% to somebody said so. Can you give me the originating document or the originating visual or the originating voice whereby it was said by the first lady that women must be given 30% in the primary? You know what they call it in political circles? Genji. They play the fast one. You know what they call it when my own dad was growing up in Lagos? They call it OJ. You know where OJ lives? OJ Marina. First, go keep a man share. So that's more OJ from Marina.
As a matter of fact, there was this rumor that made around the year that at the point a particular list was presented and there were withdrawals, gatekeeping, substitutions. The list you have seen is not the final list. I can stick a bet.
The list you have seen for the local
But I think most of them had already gotten a LASEG from 008 or what do you call it?
Do you want me to give you a true life story?
Nigerians we want to hear.
Yeah. In the last time this election was held, the person that campaigned for the election in Apapa local government, that won the election, nobody even knew who actually candidate 1 was withdrawn, candidate 2 was substituted, candidate 3, and then the person that actually contested the election was not the one that was sworn in on the day of the election.
Wow.
After on the day of inauguration. These are facts. They are there in the public domain. They are there in the public domain. Look, Chego, the present Senate president did not contest the primaries. The former Senate president is in the Senate, did not contest the primaries in the Senate. They are both in the Senate. Did they contest primary? They contested presidential election. Can you contest 2 elections based on the Electoral Act of 2022?
So talking about these
politics
these local government, or should I say upcoming elections, what do you think would be the issues that would dominate the discourse and how voters can make informed decisions?
Look, the way the local government election is structured, every election will be won by the party that controls the state government. Have you ever seen an exception? The one that you have experienced in the Supreme Court overruled it, and that was Rivers. And the Supreme Court Supreme, they are supreme because that's what the road constitution gives to them. Can they make mistakes? They are human. Can their pronouncement and everything is subject to opinion? And so if you have 9 Supreme Court justices and 4 have one opinion, 5 are of the other opinion, the 5th opinion wins. So it's based on human feelings, human sentiments, human interpretation of the law. So as far as the local government election of Lagos is concerned, the election was conducted during the primaries of APC. And that's why you see that there were desperation by political agitators to ensure that it is their kid and kin, their brothers and their sisters and their girlfriends that occupy the seat. We all know all the shenanigans that surrounded them, that surrounded that look. I asked some people some question. Let me break it down. Let me come to my local. I asked some people some election. Somebody is a state officer. He has already gotten one. Does he have the right to bring another candidate at the ward level to be a councillor? If you are accusing them, what we have seen that people have done is crass nepotism. So I've told people, there's nothing stopping Seyi Tinubu from coming out to become the governor of Lagos State in 2027. What stops him? He's entitled to it. If other people have put their children, which of the members of GAC children has not been in government or opposition before? Which of the leaders of APC, whether those old 7 leaders, those old 7 leaders that most of them have gone to be with the Lord, which of them has their children not been in government or their children has not still in government?
So does that mean there is no hope for those without either godfather or their parents?
Let me tell you, if Seyi should come out tomorrow as governor of Lagos State, I will support him. I will drag you along. I will support him. I will drag you along. I will support him. I will drag you along. Why? If I say he should come out, after all, every one of them have put their children there. So Seyi too should come out. The president should allow his son to come out to be the president, to be the governor of Lagos State. Then, since all of us want to run mad, let people scatter, shake the table, scatter everything. Seyi for governor 2027. You can go now. Isogule your son not a chairman. Isogule son not a chairman. Don't you have 2 family members in government in Lagos State? Don't we have? The son of is he not the son of Babolushi, the son of Baboluwa, the son of, you want us to start mentioning their name left, right and center. Check, we leave that thing. If Seyi, the next governor of Lagos State,
You're speaking as if you have some information within your kits here already.
I am. He does he not have right to contest the election?
Nobody will dispute that.
If other people are putting their children, what stop the president from putting his own children?
I think they already occupy the highest seats.
And so,
and sincerely, if we look at it, Sheyi has been busy helping the father one way or the other. If you ask me,
if Sheyi becomes governor, then Yabo should become the senator representing Lagos Central.
Which Yabo?
What's the name of the the senator. No, the thing is that what the leaders in APC Lagos have turned APC to is family enterprise. And if it doesn't get to that ridiculous level, people will not learn. So I'm saying it here loud and clear in Ifako radio that Sheyi should come out for governor, Shade should come out for senator representing Lagos Central.
But I think there's no difference in what they are doing in APC and other political parties, talking about these leaders putting their own children.
It's the same thing in Delta State with what Okowa did. With what the Bori did. Are you getting my point? What we have seen with the development of this democratic experiment is that we are not practicing democracy. What we are seeing is oligarchy. Government of the few, by the few, and for the few. In terms of economic policies, that's the system we are practicing. In terms of political system, what we are actually practicing is feudalism at its highest peak. We have feudal lords, and it is those lords that determine who gets what and what. In your local government, you have people you call stakeholders. Don't you have them? You have them in every local government. You call them apex. Apex that have not gotten to any zenith. Zenith that are not first.
But apex of their political parties.
Apex of, because of people's stakeholders. What stake do they have in this community? Some don't even know the history of this community. Sometimes people bring their people out. Leadership by position, not leadership by growing up in the community. Hello, Jem. We can dissect them. We can how many of the people in your stakeholders in Ifako that are actually stakeholders? I'm asking them. How many? How many of them knew Ajaguno?
That's a big one.
No, how many of them knew Ajaguno from them? Those of them that are from Ifako. I'm asking, how many of them knew of blessed memory? How many of them knew Dr. Kolajo of blessed memory?
But no doubt we need some people to steer the wheel of...
so you see, Shegun, what we have seen is the subversion of the system by people having access to higher people at the top. I've told you power comes from the top, not from the grassroots. And that's what, look, when you are going to do local government party primaries, it is list, everybody will submit the list, and it is the list that is ratified, that becomes the ESCO.
All right, let's go back to the presidency. 2027 is fast approaching, and no doubt a lot of people are interested in that as we speak. The likes of, so to say, former VP Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, El-Rufai has been said to be forming an alliance. Where do you think they are going?
Well, I've told people this. You can't see what 2027 will look like until the primary season. It is the primary season of the party that will determine the actual outcome of 2027 election. If you ask me, I would say the president has a head start. One, nobody is going to contest with him, so he's not going to dissipate his energy.
You mean within his political party?
Yeah, nobody will contest with the president. They allow the president to
see second
time, with the exception of PDP.
Okay.
With the exception of PDP. Buhari, it was one form that they sold in from
that
was made available. They print 011 form and they present. He did not even use his money to buy bought it for him and presented it to him. That's the same thing that will happen with them.
Sure.
The opposition among themselves, they will slug it out. So they will dissipate a lot of energy, they will spend a lot of money. However, it is where the crisis of APC will come from is down the ballot. Down the ballot. The gubernatorial primaries, the House of Rep primaries, the Senate primaries, the House of Assembly primaries. That's where the challenges is going to come from. A lot of people have crossed over to APC today. The aspiration can never, will never be achieved in APC. And when it comes to human beings being political animal, when it comes to 2027, you see that a lot of people will leave to go to other platforms to achieve their aspiration.
Even for those that are defecting, I think from the outset there are rules guiding aspirations, ambitions, and what have you. You must have stayed a particular period.
You waive it, Shegun. What is it that stops the National Executive Committee of convening a meeting or convening national convention and they change the rules? Shegun, what can bring about a change is a convention. What they call a convention. The issue of the party and everything belongs to the party. It does not belong to the courts. It does not belong. Even look at it, the candidate of parties. You see how the judiciary has eaten deep into our candidates of the parties are no longer even determined by the party members. They are determined by the columns.
No, I was meeting minds with some people yesterday, and in the course of expressing their display, they noted that some people emerge as a result of their pockets, what they've got to offer the so-called delegates, talking about the local government primaries of your political party. And I used to hear from one or two leaders that Omo Bile, Loman Shejoba Bile, but that seems not to be what is in trend again. So when somebody come and he can offer the delegates this to take home, so to say that person will emerge as their candidate. But will they not pay for it in the long run?
Yeah. They collected their due. You know, when I was part and parcel of the process, and we were joking and some were laughing because we were beating 25-0. Let me say, we didn't get a single vote. And
maybe you didn't do your homework very well.
And to go to Bamak in Yakonde, is what I tell you. I'm a lecturer and I'm a teacher. If you feel a course by attending the course, and you it can be waived for you. After all, you saw JAM, ask students to come and receive the exam. In the event of anything, if they disqualify a candidate, it is those that participated in it that will. How did Yahabilo become the governor? What was the score of Yahabilo? So it's participation. You participate in the process, you never know what the outcome will be. So we were beating 25-0 and they were laughing. Some were Jesus, and I said, look, they said they gave you people 200,000 each delegate. I divided 200,000 by 4 years. I said, what does it equate to? So let's assume they gave you 500,000. Let's divide it by 4 years.
That's 125
per year. I said, what does it equate to? I supported the candidate I supported based on conviction. I knew him from childhood. He comes to my house. He solicited for my support. He practically came to my house and solicited for my support. Your own candidate, does he know your house? Has he ever been to your house? If you don't solicit for my support, I don't give it. I'm not just one run-of-the-mill politician. You must solicit for my support. And I saw when the person emerges, and I didn't collect it, I said, you know, remember you came to my house. I didn't collect 1 naira from your hand. That's integrity. That's holding people accountable. Can all these people tell whoever they've elected that I didn't collect money from your hand? Can they call him to order? Can they vote without collecting money? Like you said, I think politics should be about community interest. What would be of best interest to me in my community? And we have seen a situation whereby strangers will come with plenty money and they will hijack the structure of the body, and you start complaining governance. You have eaten your cake. You can't have it again.
Moving away from politics, as an educationist, you said something about JAM just now in your reference, and the recent, should I call it a backlash that happened within that system. Do you think it will affect the personality of Professor Oyedele or Oyedele, they call him, and the system itself moving forward?
Well, I think that one of the best way in crisis management is for you to accept your fault. You see that which the noise and the rest of it died down immediately. What actually activated the crisis was the tweet by the handler of their social media. He said, God, man proposes, God disposes. That created a backlash. But the JAM registrar came and apologized, and that was the tension.
Some people believe he should resign.
And that was the tension and the rest of it. As far as I am concerned, I believe the tenureship of JAM registrar shouldn't be more than 5 years. I mean, shouldn't be more than 5 years, just like you have for the PC in the universities. 2, I believe that whoever is going to head JAM should be someone that is good in quality assurance, specialist in quality assurance. That's my position. That's my take. A JAM should not be a political appointment. It shouldn't be what you use to reward. For me, look, let's put it in perspective. Someone has been VC. After I left the office of the VC, which is highest, made him registrar. It's recycling which we are talking about in politics. It's recycling. And that's why you see some people, after they become permanent secretary in the civil service, they will retire and then they won't become senator, they want to become this. When you have got into the peak of your career, and it's recycling, it's not giving opportunities. So
maybe they are retired but not tired.
For me, I would rather have a data specialist, someone young, someone that has AI knowledge and the rest of it to get JAM now. I'd rather give it to a young professor between the ages of 40, 45. Someone that might not even be a professor, but someone that has technical expertise.
But talking about young hands, I think the leaders also have this fear of entrusting the younger ones with
how old was
public office.
How old was the president in 1999?
I'm not talking about the president.
I'm just saying generally. How old was he? Majority of those in government today, how old were they in 1999? You're talking about how many years ago?
Well, that is not the song now. I think I have listened to some of them.
That's more than a quarter of a century ago. If you take 25 years out of somebody's life, 26 years out of somebody's life. So they've been in the corridor of power for 26 years. So for me, it's time for us to provide opportunities, particularly in specialized area. Why do you think that Elon Musk was brought by Donald Trump to head Department of Government Efficiency? To reduce waste, corruption in government, because he has technical know-how. He's done it before in his private business, and then he's doing it now. So that's what I'm saying. There are some offices that shouldn't be partisan. And then, for me, I'm in academics, but for me, to a large extent, I don't have respect for VCs because of the way they handled our elections in the last 12 years or thereabouts.
Well, I hope they are getting that and
the way professors have, and you have VCs have been made returning officers. Professors have been made returning officers at the local government. And you have seen what they've done with the electoral process.
I want to believe some of them are listening and they want to retrace their steps correctly.
I don't even aspire to become a professor, so my paper is not going before them.
Sir, we want to thank you for coming on People and Politics here on Ifako Radio, situated at Ifako. But before you go, sir, what do you have to say to the people of Ifako? Ifako Ijai, and in extension of Jokoro.
Well, Ifako Ijai, when we talk Ifako Ijai, it includes Jokoro. We are the one that receive money for them. We are their father.
God bless
They
you.
are our children. Well, the good people of Ifako, listen to Ifako radio. This is the voice of the people. It's the platform through which our elected representative can hear your view, and it is a platform through which you can also hear what our elected representative are doing for us. Listen to it. Support this radio by advertising on their Facebook, all their social media handle. If you see something good, we should all support it, and we should support all our elected representatives, starting from the local government chairman, starting from the councillors to the local government chairman and his team, our House of Assembly member and our House of Rep member, the people representing on Ifako deserves your support. They have my support, and they should get your own support. And where we need to call them to order, we always call them to order.
And I think very soon we should have somebody also representing the senatorial district from
Ifako. Hopefully it will come to our turn. Different people have had the shots, but hopefully it will come to our turn. Thank you for having me, Shebu.
Yes, those were the words of Dr. Jide Johnson, popularly known as JJ. It's been a wonderful moment here in the studio, and God's willing, next week we'll also be here with another bumper package. I remain yours truly, Olanireti Olusegun, the Mayor of Lagos City, and special thanks to all our audience. Special thanks to all our audience, our listeners, and we want to appreciate you. Follow us on Facebook, on X, on WhatsApp, on TikTok, and Instagram. Instagram is Ifako_radio. Other platforms, it is Ifako Radio. Special appreciation also goes to the producer of our People and Politics, the most beautiful woman, most elegant, Ololade Olanireti. See you same time next week, God's willing.
We are happy.
Àbẹ̀orí àgbárí àtẹnujẹ ló fẹ́ pa yín pẹ̀tẹ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ taná ní ìpọ̀pá ẹni bá tàgbà kó lọ́mọ ọ̀fẹ́ ní ṣé bẹ̀lẹ́